Hi, this is Lonyo and I'm doing another game on Shakuras Plateau, and this time we've got Freedom as the green Protoss against Captain as the yellow Terran. So I've done a game between these two players before. Last time it was on Jungle Basin and they would pick these same colours and they're just having a bit of a chat. This isn't a ladder game, I'm not sure exactly where it's from, but these are both Korean players, don't know anything about them. They don't seem to be on the Korean top 200 or particularly high up in the ladder, but this is an observed game. So we've got the Terran just over here doing nothing out of the ordinary, just a standard opening. This is a 4-player map. It's kind of difficult to do any kind of cheese strategy because it's difficult to know where your opponent's going to be. One thing about this map is, as far as I know, the spawns are kind of conditional, so you can spawn up here in the top 2 positions, or you can spawn in cross map positions, so like down in the bottom right and up in the top left. But you can't spawn kind of top here to bottom down here. So they've kind of made it so that you can only spawn in certain kind of different positions. So both players kind of fairly close here by air, and they've got a back path between the 2 bases which is blocked off by rocks at each end. You've got an expansion down here kind of in the middle of this, which probably won't come into action since they're just both so close to each other, and you've got expansions down here which you can kind of exploit. If you stick some tanks up here, Terran player Captain might want to be able to stick some tanks up here if Freedom decides to go for a 3rd base, but we'll just have to see how it goes. And so far we've just got a standard opening. Barracks coming out now, got a gateway coming up here for Freedom, so neither player trying too much. We just got the scout now coming out from Captain, and it looks like he might be going straight towards Freedom's base. I mean, obviously he doesn't have to scout this bottom right because of the way the map works, so just got standard pylons, gas going up as well. And if we look at the income tab, kind of almost fairly similar on income. Captain's got a bit less because obviously he's got his SCV scouting here, and looks like Freedom's going to check this bottom left base, although I'm not entirely sure why. He might not kind of know the map particularly well. So Captain sees what's going on, he sees the 7-8 squad just going up, completely standard timing, so he'll know exactly kind of not to expect anything funny. He doesn't need to worry about any kind of cheese or any kind of early rush, especially if it's in a Cybernate's squad instead of a 2nd gateway, so I know it's not kind of any kind of zealot pressure early on in the game. And there's no double gas, so he might not be expecting kind of an early Stargate or anything. And he's not getting anything particularly funny himself, he's just got his Orbital Command out calling the mule down. So I'll have to see whether the Protoss does decide to kind of go any kind of gateway kind of pressure, or whether he decides that he wants to get a Stargate and try and put some air pressure on, because obviously with the short distance, if he gets some void rays up, he can kind of go across, he can charge them up on these back rocks here and do quite a bit of damage to the void rays if he wants to. And we've got a 2nd gas now coming up for Captain, so it looks like he might want to go for either some factory play, or he might decide to go for kind of a Banshee or something, put some pressure on, because obviously again, short distance, Banshee can get over there pretty quickly and he'll be able to do quite a bit of damage to these mineral lines. And if we just look at the production tab, we've got the warp gate technology researching, just got the 1 gateway which is producing a stalker at the moment. We've got a tech lab coming down from the factory, so he might coming down on the barracks, so it looks like in fact he's going to go for 2 barracks, might be getting a medevac, or he might be putting on some pressure with these barracks, get some marauders out, and it's getting a reactor, so we might see the swap between the barracks and the factory to get a reacted barracks, or he might decide to get some Hellions out, but I'll probably be expecting kind of marauder marine pressure. And obviously he's taking this Naga watchtower, which Freedom is now attacking. So we'll have to see if these two have kind of an epic battle yet, when it looks like Freedom's going to beat Captain, who's not doing much with his SCV at the moment. And he's got these 2 stalkers and this zealot, and it looks like he's going to wander them out of the base. We'll have to see whether he decides to go all the way to Captain's base or just kind of stick around and guard his own ramp. And we've got some more zealots coming out. That warp gate technology is nearly finished, and we've got another gateway down. So we've got 2 warp gates, and it doesn't look like he's sent any kind of probe, so he's not putting down any kind of proxy pylon slightly close to Captain's base at the moment. And yep, he is swapping that barracks over with the reactor, so he's going to pump up marines. It looks like he's going to use that factory for scouting purposes, send that across, see what's going on inside Freedom's base, and then presumably he's going to put on some early pressure. So he's got Stim researching at the moment. He's already got concussive shell upgrade for the marauders, so that'll be pretty effective against the Stalker. And it looks like Freedom's taking an expansion, so he's going to be a bit behind on unit count because of that expansion, so he's just got a couple of sentries out which let him block the ramp. I think he can block this with 2 force fields, might be able to block this with 1 force field, so I have to see whether he decides to kind of stick up with his base or to head down. And in fact he might decide, no he's not, I was going to say he might decide to land this kind of in the back of the base and pump some Hellions out into the main, but it looks like he's just going to use it to kind of scout around and see what's going on, because I don't think he'll be able to land that anywhere down here, especially not with that pylon being able to spot it. And it looks like he's going to push out now with some marauders and some marines, and so that factory will arrive and then he'll be able to see what's going on, see where the units are. and then rush in with those units at the front possibly, although he might just end up sitting on the jungle watch to see if there's anything funny going on, but there isn't at the moment. He's got a pylon spot in his back rocks, but that's not going to be too useful. So he is moving in with his force. He's got some more units coming out now that probably might wait for them to come and reinforce. And if we look at Stim, that's nearly finished. So we'll probably wait for Stim to finish, wait for those couple of units to come in, and it looks like he is in fact going to produce a Hellion from over here. So that'll go along with his army, and it looks like he's probably producing that because he kind of got enough information about the base at the moment, enough information about the unit composition with those Stalkers and Zealots kind of sat around waiting to see if they can attack the factory. And Freedom's kind of prepared up on his ramp. He'll probably be ready to use those force fields on the ramp, and I think he's got 3 sentries out, so he'll be able to get down 2 force fields. So when these units start getting ready to rush up, when that Stim finishes, which is any second now, yep, and it looks like Stim's just about to finish, and he's just going to move in, probably Stim in, and we'll see who manages to win this battle. And 2 nice force fields, yep, that's it. 2 force fields block the ramp. He manages to take down these early troops, and the rest of them can't really do much at the moment. But he is using that factory very nicely to spot over these force fields, so his unit can still attack. So that's a nice play there from Captain. That factory being very useful, and just going to land it now, kind of use a bit of distraction. He manages to take down most of these forces. And now he's starting to produce another Hellion while he waits for this kind of force fields to die, and they have died. Now he's moving, and he gives a bit of a distraction against Freedom, who didn't decide to attack these units while at the bottom of the force field and instead went for fighting. But no, he is going to manage to hold this attack. He's going to kill all the units here. So nice there by Freedom. Good use of the sentries to block that ramp. Manages to take down the factory as well, and so we've got a command center expansion coming up over here for Captain, but it doesn't look like he managed to get down a starport, so he's not going to be able to get any kind of medevac out. He's not going to be able to do any drops. He's not going to be able to heal up the bio units that he's producing, and instead he's getting a couple of extra barracks, so he's going to have 4 barracks and get this expansion up. He's going to be slightly behind economically. So wow, 38 harvesters to 25, so Freedom's got a massive economic lead at the moment. He's getting down his 2 extra gases, so he's going to be able to do a lot of damage. He's got a robotics facility up, he's got more gateways warping in, he's got a robotics bay warping in, so he'll probably be looking to get Colossus, not bothering to get any Immortals, not bothering to get an Observer. And he probably knows pretty much what Captain's got, and since he's taken that factory down, he knows that mainly the main danger is going to come from this kind of ground bioforce, and the only thing that might happen is that he might have a starport up to medevacs, but he's not going to be too worried about that. So it looks like we're getting another factory, and that might be for that starport, so he can get the medevacs out to kind of go along with his bioforce. But I would say Freedom's got quite a decisive advantage at the moment with that huge economic lead. More than 50% more harvesters, more income, and the expansion not even yet up from Captain. So it's just going to be a case of kind of whether he decides to macro up some forces. Oh no, sorry, I completely missed the fact that he does have an observer out, so he does know what's going on, which is probably one of the reasons why he's waiting for that Colossus, because there aren't too many Marauders out, so that Colossus is going to be more useful against this bioforce. The Immortal's useful for tanking the Marauder damage, so he knows what's going on, and we can see he's getting the thermal lance upgrade as well, so he's got better range on that Colossus. Just warping in some more Stalkers and going with a kind of mainly Stalker army at the moment. Lots of Stalkers, not so many Zealots. Just kind of sticking with these 4 gateways and a robotics bay off 2 bases. Not needing to get a 3rd at the moment, and we've got the orbital command coming up now for Captain. So he's going to be able to catch up slightly on the mineral income at least with the mules, but he's still 21 harvesters behind, and it looks like, nope, he's not going to move out, he's just going to kind of position his forces around a bit on his ramp. And yeah, we do have a starport going down, we've got a reactor going down, presumably on that factory again. Yep, so that's going to switch with the starport. He's going to be able to get out probably some Vikings. I'll just see if he's got vision on that robotics facility. Yeah, he does have the robotics facility, but he hasn't seen the robotics support base, so he might not know that there's Colossi going out, but he can probably guess that there will be, so he can get Vikings and medevacs pumping from that starport when he switches over on the reactor. He's got his 4 barracks just pumping Marines and Marauders. He's already got the combat shield upgrade, and he's putting down another barracks. He's getting the +1 attack, so he's going to have quite a decent bioforce soon enough, but it might not actually be soon enough, because it looks like we're going to have Freedom marching out with all his army. He's got Stalkers, he's got Sentries, he's got Zealots, and he's got a couple of Colossi already up, ready to support this army at the back. And I'm going to spoil slightly. Last game we saw some hallucinated Colossi. I hope I can check quickly enough. He doesn't have hallucination as such, and he is going to move in just with this army. He's Northern Shield. Colossus is slightly too far behind, so not very well micro there, but he has a nice force field down, blocking pretty much most of these forces from being able to come up. And wow, that's a nice use of the Colossi, and nice use of the force field, nice use of the Colossi, and yep, it looks like he's going to be able to win this pretty much. Although he is losing quite a few forces, but there isn't too much left now for Captain, and he will be able to support this with some more troops, especially with that economic lead. I know he's going to manage to take it all down completely. There's so many sentries there, and GG from Captain. Captain loses the game. A nice timing push there from Freedom, just about when that upgrade was finishing research. He just started the infantry armor, but he was in there too soon. Nicely used the force fields to completely split up that Marine Marauder bio army. Came in with the Colossi slightly too late. Could have waited slightly longer for them to catch up with the rest of the main army, but in the end it didn't matter. He came in and just absolutely destroyed the army just off his better economy. Managed to hold off that early attack, and good game there. Well played from Freedom. Easy victory.